Thank you, Peter, for joining us today. First off, tell us, how did you become a fan of Status Quo?
I bought the single Down Down when it came out, so I'm that old. I think I was 13 or 14 at the time, and I liked it very much, of course. But it really kicked in with the EP of Roll Over Lay Down Live. Yeah, that was really like a rocket explosion inside my head when I heard that.
And was it very long before you saw them live, or did you have to wait a while?
I think the Roll Over Lay Down single was in 74 or 75.
Yeah, 75.
And I saw them first time in 77.
Wow, what was that like?
It was a great experience, of course. It was also very different at the time. Now you can go to concerts like, if you want, you can go to see a big group almost every week if you want. But back then, we really looking forward to a concert that was still 2 or 3 months ahead. And you had months of anticipation, really working on you, and you got already overexcited in the going to the venue. I remember it was in Amsterdam. It was in a sports hall or skating rink. It was, and we had to go from the station with the tram or the streetcar. I don't know how you call that in England. And everybody was coming from the station, and all the trams were all filled with Quo fans, and it was already dancing and singing and moving, and they had to stop it a few times because the trams were moving to and fro in the rails. So you can, it's hard to. I think it's hard to imagine now how it must have been then.
I think so, but you paint such a vivid picture of what it was like. You got a huge taste of Quo fandom, and one of the reasons why you've come on is to talk about that experience. Tell me about Quotation.
Yeah, so I was a member of the Dutch Status Quo fan club, which at that time was very well organized. We had a fan magazine every 2 months, and also the chairman of the fan club really had a good relationships, I think, with Quo management at the time. So we really got some new things we got real Quo news. It's not like just writing down what was in the magazines anyway. And every year he organized a fan club meeting from 76 onwards, and then we go there. He had the Quo Top 100 that was playing all day. We had a contest of miming Status Quo on stage, and you could win an LP or something if you were the best. Yeah, these meetings were very well attended at the time. I think 600-700 people easily, which was really a big deal. So if you can imagine, I was 15 or 16, and I was miming Alan Lancaster, and people were cheering at me as if I was the real thing. That's an experience you'll never forget. But in 78, the fan club meeting, some guys who were always entering the contest got together on the initiative of the chairman of the Quo fan club. Well, the idea was, why don't we try to really play some Quo songs instead of just miming it? The only problem is that I think of the 5 people involved, only 2 already had an instrument in their hands before. But I didn't participate in the beginning because I was starting to play the bass at that time, But the chairman of the Quo fan club was also playing bass, and he really wanted to do the Lancaster spot. So, of course, he had the first right to do it. But a very close friend of mine was doing the lead, so he was Francis.
Yeah.
And the day before the gig, it was on a Saturday, I went with him to the rehearsal. And well, they tried to play, and it was okay, but the singing was terrible. Really, was nothing. Well, it wasn't passable even for an enthusiastic Quo fan audience. It wasn't passable at all. So I could sing a bit at the time, but I never sung in a band. But I knew all the lyrics. So they asked me to fill in the singer spot. So we were in fact a 5-piece then, with me as separate singer. So it's not at all the frantic for Quo lineup that they were aiming for. But yeah, we did it anyway, and it was very very nice to do. It was very exciting to do, but it must have been terrible sounding. Although the enthusiasm, the audience was very enthusiastic.
That must have been quite a moment because, like you say, the fan club, the meetings that you would have went from miming on stage to having a band. And, you know, that there must have been so much excitement around that. What happened next? Because you got to play with quite a famous person, didn't you?
Yes. So... But we wanted to do. It tasted like doing more. That although it wasn't that good, but we thought, well, okay, we rehearse some more, and then the idea was to, in fact, not just do one big Quo fan club meeting once a year, but to go on a sort of tour with a Quo program. So that was including showing movies. Like the Wembley live movie
from '74,
yeah, that one, and also what I remember, I never saw it again. A clip of Paper Plane was showing, and then a DJ with playing Quo music all night, and then us as the band that plays the Quo songs. So a few months after that first gig, we started the tour. We always, over a year, we played almost every week somewhere in Holland, and also a little bit in Belgium. And during that year, it became clear that we could expect a nice visit from somebody. Mm-hmm. They were Status Quo was at that time. Recording the Whatever You Want album, and they did that in Hilversum in Holland. So Rick Parfitt agreed to come to the fan club meeting.
Wow!
And that was mind blowing.
I mean, yeah, with a celebrity like that, there is sort of an aura around them, isn't there? I've experienced it.
Yes, He was very nice, very cool, very down to earth. But yeah, what you say, you can tell he was special. He didn't act special. He was special.
So how did it go from you guys playing a set to Rick Parfitt joining you on stage?
He just leapt in. It wasn't agreed or something. We did a few songs, and then he leapt in and he asked very politely to our Parfitt if he could borrow his guitar, and we played Big Fat Mama, and he sang it.
And of course, there's video footage of that exists, plus an interview which you sent me beforehand where he talks about it, and he says it's very, it's all in good fun sort of thing, but if you guys were doing it more professionally, you'd take it more seriously, I believe was his sort of meaning?
Yeah, we were still, we did a year of gigging, but I wouldn't say we were top level. I mean, even, you learn a lot on your instrument during a year of gigging, but it was still only a year that we played our instrument, most of us. So I think he was very nice in the interview, and that I think on one point he said it needs some fine tuning.
Yes.
Well, my experience, my opinion is that it needed a little bit more than fine tuning, but okay. But we all loved the music so much. And I think that really shows, and you could hear that. We were not a tribute band in it for the money, you know. We were in it for Quo and not for the money.
What did the set list look like at this point? Because as you say, Whatever You Want album hadn't been released yet, and so you had the previous stuff, you know, mainly 70s material to work from. Were you going from the live album, for example, or were you doing what some of them do now, where they sort of pick a few album tracks?
No, we the core of our gigs was the live album.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did every song of that album, but we also did Break the Rules, Paper Plane, but we didn't do Down Down. That was not on the live album, but obviously they did play it live in that period, but we didn't do it. We had a go on a mystery song, but it was too hard for us at the time, so we didn't do it.
I mean, I guess the limitations of the time would have started to creep in there, because all you would have had was the records, I'm presuming. There weren't really any songbooks, or, you know, you couldn't just pop onto YouTube and see what chord Rick was playing. No,
we just put our LP or single, what we had on the turntable, and listened and shifted the needle back to listen again, and so we tried to work things out. I only learned later, because we did 4,500 times, and you have this bass and guitar solo, you know, from da 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 dum dum da 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 dum, you know that bit.
Yeah.
And I could pull it off, kind of, but only years later, when I could really see it one time on YouTube, I saw that I was playing it in entirely the wrong position, and in fact making it much harder for me to play it than Alan Lancaster did at that time. And these are things you can now easily see. You just go on YouTube or whatever, and you see how they do it.
To say, you had limitations of the time. Do you think that Quotation were possibly the world's first Quo tribute act?
I think so.
Yeah.
Not only maybe tribute bands are only big now, let's say the last 5-6 years. Before that, there were hardly any tribute bands, and at that time there was no tribute band at all, of nobody.
Would have been mainly sort of original music and maybe covers bands.
Yeah, covers bands. There were covers bands, of course, but no bands that just focused on just one. Probably with the exception of some guys doing Beatles stuff, or maybe Rolling Stones, that kind of bands, but not the contemporary bands at the time.
Do you think that's perhaps due to sort of a rise in nostalgia for certain periods?
Now it is.
Yeah.
But when we did it, in fact, Quo was at the peak. We started when they only just have the released the Quo live album, and they still had Whatever You Want and Rockin' All Over the World to go. So in fact, it was quite how do you say that in English? Special that you are a tribute band of a band that's on its peak.
Yeah. And that you had an outlet at that time with those meetings and the tour that you did. I'm assuming when you showed video and stuff, that would have been on projectors and things at that time, things that people picked up along the way.
Yeah, so we had this big foldable screen, the thing you're rolling down, and then you have a projector in the end of the venue, and you just project it, and people were not just sitting and watching it; they were just doing it like as if Quo was there, playing live, so doing all the moves and dancing to it and things like that.
Lots of enthusiasm. What have you done in the years since? What did you do afterwards? I mean, after, playing in Quotation and, performing with Rick Parfitt, where did things take you?
About a year after we played with Rick Parfitt, we did our last Quo meeting, so in 1980. We did some gigs after that, but then the lead guitarist and myself, we wanted to do our own songs. So we left the band. The band went on a bit, then later resurfaced again. And I saw them, I think, that's about 10 years back, but they were a lot better than we were, I'm sure. But I don't think they would have had half the fun that we did playing Rick Parfitt, of course. So then I'm still performing with different bands and in different styles of music. I've played and drummed in a soul band. I'm now singer in a metal band. I'm also involved in a revival project of a Woodstock tribute band.
Wow!
So I'm doing all kind of stuff.
Yeah, really varied. I mean, with the metal act. I mean, you've a lot of voice warm-ups involved in that, surely.
Not as much as I should. But it's not. You have of course a lot of different genres in metal. I'm not in the death metal grunge thing. It's more like the new metal. Like we play songs in the line of System of a Down, Korn, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's very different from some of the stuff that you would have been singing in Quotation.
Yes, and we did try a Quo song actually. We tried to do Drifting Away from the Quo album, and we could pull it off, but for me it didn't feel right. And that's the thing with Quo music. There were several projects where once in a while I tried to slip in a Quo song. And the thing is with Quo music, the Quo songs are easy to play in the sense that you can pick out the chords and the progressions and things like that. That you can do. Well, if you have 2-3 years experience on the guitar, you can play those things. But it takes so much work and so much dedication to sound like it. There's so if you're not a dedicated Quo tribute band, but you're just doing one Quo song or 2 Quo songs in your set, you never pull it off.
it is all about the feel, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
It's about nailing that feel, which is not as easy as it looks sometimes.
No, it's hard.
Yeah.
And there's more skill involved than, let's say, non-Quo fans or non-Quo followers would imagine.
Indeed. You mentioned that the sort of fan club meetups ended in around 1980. Is there a reason for that? You know, was there any reason given, or did they just stop?
I think it also has a bit to do with the decline of the popularity of Status Quo in Holland anyway. I don't know, in UK, they always remained quite top of the bill, I think.
Yeah.
Although even there, I know that they did like let's say how do you call it, support act for Queen in the Wembley gigs.
Yes, in '86.
So even there, they were not anymore the top of the top. So I think that's just, they were over their top, and so the fan club also went downhill. That's a bit, I think, the problem.
Where do you think they are now in terms of popularity?
Here in Holland and in Belgium, because
Yes.
I've moved to Belgium 30 years ago.
Yes.
They are really a nostalgia trip.
Mm-hmm.
So people my age and a little bit younger, if they come around, well, they can still fill a big venue, no problem. But really following them in like buying the new releases and things like that, they're not selling here anymore. I don't know how it is in UK. Maybe it's a bit better, but...
Well, when they've released studio albums here, they have tended to go sort of maybe top 10, top 20 in the charts. The singles, I mean, the singles chart over here changed about 20 years ago. And so it made acts like Quo much harder to, it was much harder for them to break the charts here. But yeah, I do think over time there has been that decline. They're sort of a band where they go away for a bit and then they come back and have their moment, I've found, over the last sort of 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah, they had a sort of comeback in the single list in the Army now.
Yes.
And also one album that did quite well here was the Party Ain't Over Yet.
Oh, really?
Somehow somehow in the Belgian charts, I think it was one of the best in the last 20 years.
Wow.
And also that's what got me back into Quo, actually, that album. Because when I left Quotation and I went to pursue other musical paths,
yes,
maybe I had a kind of Quo fatigue at the time. So I really haven't after the Never Too Late album. I think the 4 or 5 albums after that I didn't buy at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So normally I would buy anything with Status Quo on it. It doesn't matter. But there were a few years that I really wanted to have a little distance between me and that stuff. But it keeps running in my blood, and so I keep coming back to it, even though I'm doing musically myself doing a lot of other stuff at the moment.
Where can we find out about what you're doing now?
I have some clips on a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's Citizen Drake, and I'm there are on various platforms. There are clips of my live concerts floating around. I'm still not doing music professionally, so it's not like that. I have a massive output of music and videos roaming around, but you can find me if you try.
Yeah. Last question. what is your kind of prevailing memory of being on stage with Rick Parfitt? What is it that you remember more than anything else?
The ease of his playing. So if you watch him doing his rhythm stuff, it's like he's really. If you look from the outside, it looks like he's really working hard to get that sound going. But when you stand next to him, you see how much suppleness there is in his playing, and how it looks like he's doing everything on force, but he's doing a lot of stuff, just being supple and I'm looking for the English word at the moment, but smooth. There's this kind of smoothness in his movements.
Mm-hmm.
He's not stressed. He's not he's not tense. His playing is not tense. His playing is very it's very tight.
Very
but it's not tense.
I was going to use the word loose, but that doesn't really go with tight.
Yeah. No, his output is tight,
mm-hmm.
but his input is loose. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say with that.
I do. Yeah. He does make it look easy when you see it on video, but it's not an easy thing to do.
No.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I haven't done an interview for a while, so thank you for being my first in a while. A little bit rusty. Hopefully I asked the right questions if people want to know.
Well, and I hope my English was understandable enough.
It was, yeah. Have you been to any of the more recent conventions, or have you kind of just watched from a distance?
No, I've never been to conventions, but I did go to every time they passed here or in Holland in the last, let's say, since 2000. I went to every concert. I also went to the 2 times to the Frantic Four concert.
Mm-hmm.
I brought my sons. They were really impressed, although they are not the Quo fans like I am, but they do like it. Although they also like my eldest son is real like in this prog rock thing.
Yeah.
And my youngest is actually making a living as a musician and producer of dance and rap music and things like that.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So I did pass on the music vibe, but the Quo vibe, not so much. But they do like it.
But you got to experience the Frantic Four with them in concert.
Yes.
And, you know, that for anyone who went, you know, they got to experience that. And it was just a little taster, I think, of what they were doing in the 70s, especially with that set list.
Yeah, that was, for me, that was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I was going back, I was going back 30 years myself. Indeed.
Well, once again, thank you, Peter Hempel, for being a guest on the Quo-Cast today.
You're welcome, and it was a pleasure to be here.